Hello students, welcome to our video tutorial class. If you have seen the previous video, you have seen that we have already discussed about ecosystem function within the chapter ecosystem structure and function. So today we are starting from the next part, that is ecosystem structure, and then we will be discussing about ecological succession. So let's start our topic. First of all, when we will be starting with ecosystem structure, we can see that there are 5 different points written which we have to discuss. First, species or organisms variety. Second, stratification. Third, trophic levels. Fourth, standing crop. And fifth, standing state. We can see here, first, species or organisms variety, that is the basic structural constituent for any of the ecosystem. If you will go to any of the ecosystem, you will see that various kinds of animals and plants are actually present in that specific ecosystem. That means they are actually obtaining their food, they are obtaining their all kind of resources, and they are actually surviving in that ecosystem. So, organisms variety, biodiversity of animal and plant, that is very much common in every ecosystem. So this is the basic structural constituent for any ecosystem. Second point, stratification. Always, if you will see, in any of the ecosystem, organisms are segregated in different strata or different level, and mostly they are segregated in vertical strata. Why? If you consider any forest ecosystem, you will see there are small trees are present, like that herb. Then from that herb, little bit larger tree, that means shrub are present. Just after shrub, trees are also present. And before herb, if you consider, small grasses are also present. That means 4 different strata or 4 different levels we can see. First one, grass, then herb, then shrub, then tree. So these 4 different categories of the trees you can see in the forest ecosystem. And each and every type of plant is belonging from single strata. So which kind of stratification is this? Vertical stratification, because according to the height we are actually segregating the plants in multiple different strata. Suppose you are going to any mountain ecosystem, which kind of stratification you will see? Vertical stratification. Why? From the base to the peak, when you will just climb, you will see that in different level, different types of plants and animals are present. They are obtaining their resources from that strata and they are surviving in that strata. That means in mountain ecosystem also vertical stratification can be found. So in most of the ecosystem, if you will see, organisms are segregated in different strata, and those strata are actually arranged in a vertical manner. So that is commonly known as stratification, and stratification mostly can be vertical stratification. Going for the next, trophic levels. This thing I have discussed in the previous class when I have discussed about ecological pyramids. We all know that if you enter within any of the ecosystem, there are multiple trophic levels. As an example, suppose you are seeing the plants, green plants in the ecosystem. So they are actually belonging from the first trophic level, that means producers. Okay, if you just see that herbivorous organisms who are actually always eating the plant products or plant bodies, they are belonging from second trophic level. Okay, that means primary consumer. Next, based on those herbivores, several carnivorous organisms are surviving. So they will be always depending, or they are always belonging from third trophic level. And at last, the top carnivore who are actually present in the topmost region of any of the ecosystem, and they are feeding upon other carnivores. So they will be belonging from the fourth trophic level. So it is very much easy to understand that in each and every ecosystem there are 4 to 5 trophic levels are present, starting from producer up to the top carnivore. And here also we can see the stratification we have made in a vertical manner, okay, according to the height manner here. So from the lower to upper, you can see the organisms number, the energy available for the organisms, it is getting reduced gradually. So this is the trophic level. So trophic level means, if the definition will be asked, the multiple levels present in the ecosystem where various organisms are belonging from each and every level, and they are connected with each other, or connected to each other based on obtaining food. So that specific each and every level is commonly known as trophic levels. Okay. Moving for the next point, that is standing crop. What is standing crop? In any of the ecosystem, if you enter, the total mass or total biomass of the organisms, including animals, plants, microorganisms, everything. In any of the ecosystem, the total biomass of the organisms is considered as standing crop. That means suppose if I consider that any of the ecosystem these 4 trophic levels are present, so in these 4 trophic levels, whatever the number of organisms are present, if we just calculate their total biomass, that will be the standing crop for this kind of ecosystem, where this kind of ecological pyramid can be found. If you go for the next point, then you can see there is a standing state. What is standing state? The total quantity or the volume of minerals present in an ecosystem, specifically present in the soil of an ecosystem, that will be commonly known as standing state. So standing state and standing crop, there is a minute difference, keep it in your mind. Standing crop is the total mass of organisms present in an ecosystem, and standing state is total quantity or the volume of minerals present in the soil of an ecosystem. Is it clear to everyone? Okay. Now we are moving for next point that I have already told at the first, that is ecological succession. Ecological structure or the ecosystem structure we have described. Now we are moving for the ecological succession. First of all, we have to know what is succession. Succession is actually formation of a new community or formation of a specific ecosystem in a bare land or in a specific area where previously no ecosystem was existing. So that will be known as, or that will be called as ecological succession. Succession means none other than formation of a new community where there was no community or no species or no pyramid-like structure or no trophic levels was there. Entirely bare land, and there the succession is happening. That means the new species are coming, as well as new varieties of organisms are coming, new community is getting formed. So succession is the definition will be asked. We will be writing the process of formation of new community in a bare land area where previously no ecosystem or no community was existing. That is called ecological succession. In case of ecological succession, it can be of two types: primary succession, secondary succession. What is primary succession? Primary succession means if the succession is happening in any bare land and that is for the first time, then it is known as primary succession. But what is secondary succession? If the succession is happening for the second time, that means previously one community or one ecosystem was existing. After destruction of that ecosystem, the second ecosystem or the second community has been formed. So that will be considered as secondary succession. Here one type of question is always coming: why secondary succession is taking less time, or why for production of secondary succession or formation of a secondary succession is little bit easier than the primary succession? The reason is, when the primary succession is happening to any bare land, think properly, in the soil of that specific bare land, not a single nutrient is available. So it is really hectic to grow the plants specifically, or producers in that specific bare land, because if the plants are not present in any of the ecosystem, how that ecosystem will survive? Producer if it is absent. So if the minerals are not at all present in the soil, obviously plants can't grow, and automatically the ecosystem or the succession also can't happen properly. So for that reason, primary succession will be taking so many years for formation in a specific bare land. But if the primary succession has occurred, if the primary ecosystem or the first ecosystem has destroyed, after that animal and plant dead bodies and their body fragments or the humus produced from their body, it is mixed into the soil in that specific area. So if the secondary succession will start forming in that specific area, it will be easier, because when the secondary succession is starting, the plants can easily grow because they are obtaining their essential nutrients from the soil, because already one ecosystem or one succession has already occurred, or one community was initially or previously existing there. So keep it in your mind, primary succession is always hectic, problematic, it will take more time, it is really a time consuming process. But secondary succession is more easier process, because it is already obtaining the nutrients present in the soil. Next, Pioneer species. This is also a very important term for succession. Pioneer species means when in any of the bare land, any kind of community is forming, which specific animal or plant species has come there, or any type of animal species or plant species start growing there. So that specific species is commonly known as pioneer species, because pioneer means what? Who is actually showing the way. That means which specific species has entered, if the animal species will consider, which specific species has entered in the bare land area and started community formation, or in case of plant, which specific plant species has grown in that bare land area at first, that species will be considered as pioneer species. Is it clear? Going for the climax community. Climax community is that final stage. That means before destruction of any community, whatever the topmost or the final stage which is existing, or final community which is existing, that is commonly known as climax community. Okay, climax means always the final stage before destruction of any community, that is known as climax community. Going for that, seri or seral stages. If you consider the pioneer stage or the pioneer species at the first and the final stage as a climax, in between pioneer and climax there are so many stages or so many stratas are present, and each and every stage is considered as seri or seral stages. So you can see here, seri or seral stages means in between pioneer species and climax community, whatever the community stages are present, that can be known as seri or seral stages. Mostly 4 to 5 seral stages are commonly present in between the pioneer species and climax community. Here some specific types of the seral stages has been written. First, that is the xeroseri. Xeroseri means the seral stages which are actually found in the desert ecosystem. Suppose in the desert area any ecosystem has started forming, so whatever the seral stages you can see there, those are commonly known as xeroseri. Second one, lithoseri. Lithoseri means suppose in any of the mountain area, okay, where the environment or where the entire atmosphere is containing so many stones, so our rocky area entirely. So in that specific rocky area, if any specific ecosystem or any specific community is forming, so then each and every seral stages or seral stage is known as lithoseri. And in any of the pond ecosystem, suppose each and every seral stages are present, then each and every seri is commonly known as hydroseri. So seral stages are actually segregated based on in which specific ecosystem or in which specific community they are involved, based on that. Xeroseri in the desert ecosystem or in the during the desert community formation, each and every seral stage or community stage is known as xeroseri. In any rocky area, if the community is forming, each and every seral stage is known as lithoseri. And in any pond or aquatic body or in any aquatic ecosystem, each and every seral stage is known as hydroseri. Now we will be just looking how the xeroseri or lithoseri is forming, as well as how the hydroseri is forming. So it is actually the community development process. Clear? So first we will be discussing about stages of xeroseri or lithoseri. That means in a rocky area or in the desert area, how the community is forming, whatever the seral stages are involved. First of all, always keep it in your mind, in any desert area or any specific rocky area, first when any community is forming, first which specific species is actually arriving there, that species is lichen. That is the accumulation of algae and fungi. We all know that. This is a symbiotic relationship in between algae and fungi, that is lichen. So the lichen is start growing in that specific environment. Maybe it is rocky environment or maybe it is desert environment. So lichen stage or the lichen will be always the pioneer species. Okay, keep it in your mind. After that, when the lichen is just get replaced by the next type of the plant, that is bryophytes or the moss. That means we have understood lichen is the very rudimentary or very elementary stage, and that has been just replaced by the next community stage or the seral stage, that is the moss stage. That means the moss has come. Now the moss has been just replaced by next stage, that is annual grass stage. That means some specific grass species has grown in those rocky area or in those desert area who can survive for 1 year only. By 1 year they will die. So that kind of grasses have grown. Now annual grass stage or the annual grasses who have grown in that specific seral stage, they are again replaced by perennial grass stage. That means some another species of grass have come in that specific area who can survive for more years, more than 1 year. Okay. more than 1 year or 2 years rather you can say. So that specific stage is known as perennial grass stage. Now it has been found that perennial grass stage, that is the perennial grasses are again replaced by some specific shrubs. Okay, so shrubs that start growing, and at last you can see those shrubs are again get replaced by the tree or forest. That means in each and every several stages we can see that the type of organism who is actually taking the entire area or actually making the community, that type of organism is getting improved. First lichen has come, from the lichen moss or bryophytes have come, from the bryophytes 1 year surviving grass has come, then from there multiple year surviving grass has come, then from there little bit higher size shrubs have come, and those after that those shrubs have entirely get replaced by the trees or forest has been formed. That means in an entire bareland area, rocky area, desert area where initially not a single organism was surviving, now the forest is actually existing there. So we can understand from very rudimentary stage how it has come to our climax stage or final stage. Like that the community is generally forming in lithos, that means in the rocky environment, that is known as the lithospheric, or maybe in the desert environment, that is the xeropheric. Clear? So tree or forest stage, that is the climax community stage. Understood properly each and every several stage? So I will be considering this tree or forest stage as this one as climax, this one as pioneer, and in between all are normal several stages. Moss stage, annual grass stage, perennial grass stage and shrub stage. These are normal several stages. Going for the next stages of hydrocity. Hydrocity means in aquatic environment, how the community is forming. Here also you can see from very rudimentary or preliminary stage, gradually how the higher level of plants are actually coming. How any pond ecosystem is getting converted to a forest-like ecosystem. Let's see. First of all, we all know that in any of the ecosystem, which type of plants or organisms are coming? Planktons. And within these planktons, obviously first phytoplanktons will come, and after that zooplanktons will come. So planktons means initially phyto will come, that means phytoplanktons, and after that who will come? Zooplanktons will come. So these two type of organisms are going into the water. So they will be the pioneer species. After that, those planktonic stage is getting substituted or get replaced by submerged stage. Submerged stage means these kind of plants are coming who are entirely submerged under the water. They are actually growing from underwater soil. So they are entirely submerged, entirely present below water. We can't see them from outside. So initially phytoplankton, zooplankton has been produced, then they have been substituted or their place has been taken by submerged plant stage. Clear? They are present underwater, they are growing from underwater soil. Then submerged plant stage is entirely get substituted or replaced by submerged floating stage. That means such kind of plant community has been produced where few plants are present in submerged condition, few plants are present in floating condition. Like that hydrilla is present as a submerged plant and water hyacinth is present as a floating plant. So that kind of plant community has been formed. Next, reed swamp stage has been found. Reed swamp stage is such kind of stage where the 90% of the plants are underwater, only remaining 10% of the plants are actually, you can see, above the water. Clear? So 90% of each and every plant is under the water and 10% of each and every plant you can just see on the surface of the water. That is the reed swamp stage. Next stage, what you can see? Marsh meadow. Here you can see the plants who were actually growing below water, they are actually coming towards the bank. They are coming actually towards the coastal area of the aquatic body. Clear? So here you can see those kind of plants whose 70 to 80% just out of the water, remaining 20 to 30% is only under the water. That means just see how the community of the plant is just getting changed gradually. Then woodland stage or shrub stage, that means another plant stage has come who has entirely come out from the water. And this kind of shrubs we can see in the coastal area or along the bank of that specific aquatic body. And at last, those shrubs are entirely get replaced by the big trees and they are actually making the forest. That is the climax community or climax stage. That means it is getting clear in case of pond ecosystem also what is happening. Initially phytoplankton, zooplankton is coming. who are present under the water. From there, submerged plant stage has come. These plants are actually present under the water. So after the submerged plant stage, what is coming? Submerged floating stage is coming. Submerged floating stage is such kind of stage where the stage or the plant stage where the plants are actually present in a submerged condition fully. After that, submerged floating stage has come. That means these plants are actually present in the submerged condition, few, as well as few plants are present in floating condition. Then it has come reed swamp stage. Reed swamp stage is a such kind of the stage where you can see the 90% of the plant is under the water, only 10% or 12% is above the water. We can see that. Marsh meadow means 70% we have seen there, the plant bodies have come just above the water, remaining 20-30% is present under the water. Then shrubs have come, that means entirely the plants have come to the bank or coastal area, and at last larger trees have been formed and entire forest has been formed throughout the entire surrounding area of that specific pond ecosystem or aquatic ecosystem. So here also you can see how the plants are getting, actually the plant community is getting changed. From underwater they have come out and made the entire forest ecosystem. That means actually it is getting converted. If you consider any xerosery or lithosery or hydrosery, at last every kind of ecosystem is getting converted to the forest only, because see carefully, forest stage is actually the climax community stage. Here also this is climax and this is pioneer. Clear? So I think this entire two hydrosery and xerosery lithosery formation is getting very much clear to everyone. I am just recapitulating this entire part. I am just summarizing this. We have studied about ecosystem structure. First, within that organism variety, the variety of organisms present in the ecosystem. Stratification, that means organisms present in the ecosystem in different strata or levels. Trophic level, that means the organisms present in different level based on their nutrition availability. Standing crop, the total mass of the organisms present in an ecosystem. Standing state, that is the total quantity or the volume of the minerals present in an ecosystem. So these are the structural components. All trophic levels can be of 4 types. I have drawn in the diagram in this pyramid structure, and you also know in the from the previous video. Then I have started ecological succession, formation of the new community in a bare land, that is known as succession. That can be of 2 types, primary and secondary. Okay. Primary succession is a type of succession where there was a bare land, not a single type of this animal or plant species was surviving there initially. So formation of a new species, that is obviously a primary succession. What is secondary succession? Suppose one community was existing there, so formation of the new community in that specific area, that is called secondary succession. Pioneer species, when any specific community is growing in a new area or in a very bare land area, that specific animal or plant species is known as pioneer species. What is climax community? Climax community is such kind of community that is the final stage of any community before destruction, climax. And in each and every community you can see multiple stages of the community development, that is known as seri or several stages. In different environmental conditions, different kinds of seri can be found. In the desert condition, the several stages are known as xerosery. In the rocky environment, the several stages are known as lithosery, and in the aquatic environment, the several stages are known as hydrosery. And after that, I have described about this xerosery or lithosery formation and hydrosery elaborately for 2 times. I think these 2 points is very much clear. These 2 points are very much clear to you, each and everyone. Okay, study this part entirely, and after this part only one portion is remaining, that is biogeochemical cycle. In the next class I will be just discussing about that specific portion of this chapter. Till that, thank you everyone.